How you doing? I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Today I wanted to talk about what would you say to somebody who is challenging the fact that you've quit drinking, right? You know, they're giving you a bit of shit about what you're doing and what you're trying to achieve, right? First thing I'd say is it depends on who you're talking to, right? And who's challenging you, right? You know, if it's somebody that you don't really know, somebody you don't really care about, then, you know, just be glib. You don't have to give them detailed answers and stuff like that. You know, a lot of times I just say I don't drink, that's it. Or I say, well, I've read too many books and I've read, you know, how much damage alcohol can do to the body and stuff like that. I'm getting a bit older and I don't want to do any more damage to myself, you know. Or I've drank a lot in my past and I don't want to drink anymore now, you know. I'm fed up with drinking now, or, you know, whatever. Sometimes I might even say that I'm allergic to alcohol and I don't drink it because of that fact. You know, something else I might say would be I've done enough drinking to last me a lifetime. You know, some people will just give you opinions and they'll say to you, well, you know, they've got a very positive opinion on alcohol, you know, on drinking alcohol and how it affects them in their life and how it's, you know, benefits them in their lives. And I just say, well, yeah, it's an interesting way of looking at things. Let me know how that goes for you, you know. And, you know, it's a simple thing to say, but it's something that stops most people, you know, from pursuing it anymore, you know. One of the guys over in the comments on the website on Alcohol Mastery, Mick, who was one of our most prolific contributors, said that it was like being stuck on a hamster wheel. And, you know, it couldn't be more said more truthfully than that, you know. It's like you're just in a downward spiral. You're forever going around in circles, you know. It's like being a broken record, and that's one of the ways of dealing with people, is just to say that to them. Say, I'm sick of being stuck on that hamster wheel. I'm sick of, you know, my life just revolving around the same thing all the time, you know. I've got more things to do with my life. I've done more things in the last month since I haven't drank than I've done in the last year that I was drinking, you know. And if you start putting things in that perspective, you know, it's a very short and simple way of saying things to people. You know, people don't want to hear anymore because they're stuck in the behavior that they're doing. And most people understand at a deep level exactly what they're doing, right? They like the social aspect of it. They like this aspect of it and that aspect of it. But they know at the end of the day that all these different things in their lives that revolve around alcohol have all got negative consequences. You know, if you've got someone that's been drinking for a while, the negative consequences will be becoming more and more apparent to them. They might not admit them to the outside world, but they are there and they are apparent, right, to them, right? You know, and a lot of the times these people don't want to see anybody else quitting drinking because, you know, it sort of highlights what they're doing wrong. It highlights their behavior for what it is, especially when you are coming out and you're very, very positive about how not drinking has influenced your life and how not drinking has bettered your life, you know. I mean, people can see the difference in me from the 4 years that I've stopped drinking, you know, just in not only in my physical appearance, you know, I'm not really too bothered about that, but in just the way I am, in the way I approach life and the way I do things in life, the way I'm not bothered about staying till the end of the party. I'm not bothered about you know, finishing off the end of the bottle of wine or anything like that, you know. Any of those things that I used to do are all gone, you know. And for me, that's, you know, anyone that I've met that has gone a long time without alcohol, it's the same thing over and over again. The positivity is amazing. And it's when people don't quit drinking and they don't feel that they're being forced to quit drinking, this is when the positivity happens. It's when the positivity happens up in the head first. You know, you can quit drinking and have a negative framework about it, right? You know, you can go down to the doctors and the doctor can say to you, look, if you don't quit drinking, mate, you're going to be dead within a year and you have to quit drinking. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you like it or that you like the life without alcohol, because you're still living in the negative mentality of the alcohol behavior and how much this is affecting you and all that kind of stuff. So Winston Churchill once said that, I'll read this out: if you have an important point to make, don't try to be subtle or clever. Use a pile driver, hit the point once, then come back and hit it again, then hit it again a third time, a tremendous whack. right? This is something that I think some people need. That you need to point out to them, I don't drink, I don't want to drink, I don't like drinking, and if they question you, I don't like drinking, I don't want to drink, and you have to keep just saying the same thing over and over and over again, like a broken record, until the gobshite gets it into their head that you don't want to drink, that you don't like drinking, and you're not going to talk about it any more than that, right? And some people will say to you, well, have you got a problem? Have you got this? Have you got that? And that's them. You don't have to succumb to that. You can just be on your own level. I don't drink. I don't want to drink, right? I don't drink anymore. That's it, period. Now, another level to this is where you don't really want to be smart with people, right? You feel that, this person is not trying to be smart with you. They're just interested, and they're sort of looking at you and thinking, well, why don't you drink anymore, or why don't you drink now, or why aren't you drinking, and you don't want to be a shit to them. So you can just say something like, well, look, I'm trying to lose a few pounds, so alcohol is one of the things that has put on weight on me, so I'm just trying to lose a few pounds, or I'm getting ready for an exam, or I'm getting ready to do something important that I don't want alcohol to interfere with it. Or you can just say that you're taking medication for something and that alcohol is interfering with that, So there's very gentle ways of saying things without alluding to it, without getting the conversation going any further. Now, there's sometimes when you just have to give a bit more of an explanation, to people that you care about. These people deserve a bit more of an explanation than just being brushed off. Now, the way I think about it now is that I wouldn't focus on the alcohol at all. I wouldn't focus on that you're quitting drinking for the sake of quitting drinking. You have to sort of put your focus on something else that you're trying to achieve in your life. And, at the end of the day, that's what we're all trying to do anyway. But we make the mistake of focusing in on our alcohol because we believe that that's where the problem lies. Now, for me, that's not where the problem lies. The problem lies in the behavior, in the habit of drinking alcohol. And it's in getting rid of that habit, right? And constructing more habits to pull you into the future. That's where your focus should be. Now, your focus when you're talking to other people is always going to be, their focus is always going to be where you put your focus. Do you understand? So if you say to people, well, I'm quitting drinking because I'm an alcoholic, then guess where they're going to start focusing, right? So you don't do that, you don't need to do that. It's just, I think it's another one of those ways that we've been brainwashed to thinking that, if you do quit drinking, then you've got to admit it first, The first thing you've got to do is admit it. I think that's another one of the AA's bullshit things, Now, I'm not saying that you don't admit that you've got a problem, but it's what you've got a problem with, right? And for me, the problem is in the thinking. It's not in the alcohol itself, as I've said many, many times. It's in you believing that the behavior is normal, right? It's in you believing that alcohol drinking is normal and that you're the oddity. Always focus your mind on what you're trying to achieve in your life. Focus other people's minds on what you're trying to achieve in your life. Focus on the solution instead of the problem, and focus other people's minds on the solution rather than the problem. So I'm going to leave it there anyway. I just say to end this up, just as a first thing to think about is, who are you talking to? If you're talking to somebody who doesn't need an explanation, who doesn't deserve an explanation, then don't even feel like you have to give them an explanation. Just repeat to yourself over and over again that you don't drink, and that's it, period. For the people that need explanations, focus their minds on the future, focus their minds on what you're trying to achieve and how you're going to get there. And alcohol is a part of that process. Getting rid of alcohol is part of that process, right? Once you can do that, I think you'll get a lot more help from them, right? You'll get a lot more understanding. It's a less of a shock for them as well, to think that, well, Jesus, you might be an alcoholic and stuff like that, So, look, until next time, I'm Kevin O'Hara for alcoholmastery.com. Take care of yourself. Keep the alcohol out your mouth. Onwards and upwards. Take care. All right. Bye now. Bye.